It is a natural wonderland.
Yeah, how many places can you be where you can go skiing on a volcano in the morning and then by the evening you can have a bonfire on the beach to finish your day?
I
Yeah.
think there might be a nude
A
biking.
Yeah,
unipiper.
World Naked Bike Ride.
I looked at, Reddit. I went on to Same Grass But Greener. I went on to Relocating. And then I also went on to the Portland subreddit as well. I'm Sophia. I'm the Chief Communications Officer. Woo.
Hi, Sophia.
And that's Bertrand Sperling. He's our operations officer.
I'm from Portland, and I'm Bert's son, and that's Bert. He's our founder. There's Bert. Hi,
Yeah,
Bert.
I was born in Brooklyn, New York. My dad was in the Navy, lived all around Oslo, Norway, Key West, Florida, Carmel Valley, Kodiak, Alaska, and Portland, Oregon. I love Portland. It's great.
I'm Al. I'm the CTO, technology officer. Anyway, I've lived in Pennsylvania and Montana, Washington, and Utah.
And I'm Nick Arnold, the Chief Geospatial Officer. I basically make the maps and do data analysis and live every day inside this world of demographics and understanding places and things like that. And I've got a lot of experience moving around the country myself, so I hope to share some perspective today.
What should people know before moving to Portland, Oregon? Many people get relocated to Portland for work and feel overwhelmed by neighborhood options. There are great things about the food scene and outdoor activities, but also concerns about rain and cost of living. For those coming from smaller Midwest towns, it can be a big change. What areas work best for single professionals in their late 20s? Most don't need luxury, but want somewhere safe with good coffee shops. How necessary is a car? What are the best insider tips for people who've never lived in the Pacific Northwest before?
Leave your umbrella in the Midwest is tip number one. It will rain, but a jacket is perfectly fine and you won't stick out like a sore thumb unless you have that umbrella. So that's tip number one.
They'll have some extra skills. It doesn't really snow very often, and so when it does snow, everything shuts down. So being from the Midwest, you might actually have some skills that the rest of us don't have, and you might be a little surprised about how everything just kind of stops.
Fleece jackets. Fleece wear is a big deal, and you've got your dress going out on town fleece, and you've got your work around the yard fleece, and you've got your wear around the house fleece. And you basically, if you're like me, put on your fleece jacket and you wear it all day. You go out to the store, you're wearing the same fleece jacket, whatever. And you just wear that thing. So yeah,
That's like the Portland ethos right there. Always be comfortable.
Fleece game. Okay, fleece game from Bert. Yeah, pick out like 5 or 6 fleeces for sure. I would say about a car. I don't know if you need a car. You don't necessarily need one, depending on where you pick to live. Neighborhoods, definitely pick a neighborhood. There's more neighborhoods as far as walking. If you don't want to have a car and you want to pick a walkable neighborhood, pick one on the east side, I would say, because there's lots of walkable neighborhoods where you don't need a car. So pick one on the east side. There's Belmont neighborhood. Division is really popular. That's where I grew up. There's also Hawthorne. There's Alberta Street. Mississippi is really awesome. Those are all neighborhoods you can pick on the east side. If you want to pick a neighborhood on the west side, there's not as many, but you could do downtown or Pearl District or something like that. Yeah, so pick a neighborhood. There's lots of them, and just keep making conversations with people. We've done previously on this podcast. We've done like there's maybe a little bit of a freeze or a coldness to people sometimes, perhaps coming from the Midwest, and that might be true, but just stay vigilant and just keep talking to people, keep making conversations. People are friendly, and you'll find like your niche, you'll find your group of people. There's lots of activities to do here. People are into lots of different things, and you'll find your people and your squad and your tribe eventually. So stay active, and there's so many things to do here, which is awesome.
Recently, I went down to the Vancouver waterfront, and they're really building that out. And there's a lot of young people down there, and it's very walkable along the Columbia River. And they have some very hip new restaurants. They even have Salt and Straw. They have a milkshake bar. A lot of really neat things down there that are brand new within the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that
And it's
out there.
probably cheaper to live there as well, and way closer to the airport.
Yeah. No income tax in Washington. That's a big
Mhm.
plus.
Vancouver's just north of Portland,
Yeah.
across the Columbia
Yeah. So
River.
Vancouver and
It's
Portland, it's really one city with the Columbia River going right through the two. So you just hop on a bridge and go to either side. It's the metro area, Portland metro area. And so, Vancouver's been growing a lot lately. It used to be Vantucky, but I think it outgrew that.
I still call it that
Very,
though.
funny. Yeah, it definitely outgrew that.
very good.
That's funny. Yeah.
Just want to
Yeah,
rewind
definitely
for
outgrew.
people who are a little bit confused. Vancouver, Washington is different than Vancouver, Canada. The Portland metro area, which includes Vancouver, Washington on the Washington side, plus maybe 5 or 6 other counties, is over 2 million people. The city of Portland itself is 600,000 roughly. And so that gives you an idea. And Al just hit on something that's really important. People say moving to Portland. Okay, there's Portland, the city, and there's Portland, the metro area. And I'm a
Mhm.
real big fan of the whole metro area thing. There's lots of smaller cities and towns all around any metro area, big metro area, that are really livable. And you have all the amenities of the bigger main metro area, the bigger city, but you don't have to live
Yeah.
in the city.
Mhm.
And you can, in fact, it's often more walkable and everything for those smaller towns, and a lot cheaper too than living in the main city itself.
When I first came here 30 years ago, going to Battleground, there was a lot of farms between Vancouver and Battleground. Now it's one connected city. It's really weird seeing the transition.
I wanted to bring up some other neighborhoods that some of my peers have lived in that are like this person said, like it doesn't need to be like super luxurious, but just be good for a 20-year-old or someone in their 20s to live in. And there's like, I think Sylvan, that's like kind of like a smaller neighborhood outside of Portland. The Brooklyn neighborhood is on the like southeast
Yep.
side of Portland, pretty close in to the Willamette River. It's cheaper for housing, but like you can really easily get to like some really cool places. I feel like there's some places like near the Pearl District, but maybe just outside of it to get like some affordability, but still get like all the great things that the Pearl District comes with.
Slapdown's really new, and I went over there. I can kind of see it from where I am right now. And I just drove over there, and it's like totally built up. And I was like, whoa, it's totally a thing
Wow.
now. It's kind of between Northwest 23rd and the Pearl District.
That's where
And
like the
yeah, it's called
Montgomery
Slapdown.
Hotel is, right? Or is the big building that says the Montgomery on
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yep,
Vaughn
exactly.
Street.
And it's just totally
Yep.
all, yeah, Vaughn and 23rd and Vaughn and Thurman and stuff like that. It's all built up, people walking around. There's a New Seasons and a pizza place and stuff like that. And it's apartments and people walking around loving life and living life and stuff like that. And I was like, whoa, it's totally a
Yeah,
place now.
I would say you're going to get more affordable if you go further out to one of the smaller satellite cities. Oregon City, Gresham, Milwaukee.
Mhm.
Milwaukee is really great,
Yep.
just south of Portland. Where else do you think, Nick? Forest Grove, Hillsborough on the west side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gresham's always kind of been a bargain too. Just, the thing about Portland is you basically, aside from downtown, which has a bit of a tarnished reputation for pretty good reason right now, anywhere else in Portland, for the most part, neighborhood wise, as long as you're like on the interior part of the city, it's going to be pretty good. Like the downtown is kind of, a little sketch, but the further out you go, it gets a little bit better. And, any of those places can be really good. I used to live in a neighborhood called Creston Kenilworth, which is on the east side of
Mhm.
Portland. It's got a river between you and downtown, but you're only 4 miles away. And, the east side of Portland's like sort of being in a whole different kind of place. Honestly, every neighborhood has all of its own amenities. I almost never left my neighborhood unless I was intentionally going somewhere, because everything was a few blocks away that I could ever need or want. So wherever you end up, you're probably going to find everything you want in your neighborhood. It's not like you have to go to a certain neighborhood to get those cool coffee shops or whatever. There's legitimately one on every block, and there's ramen places and poke on every block and bookstores and all this. I mean, everything is really, it's small scale and tucked away in neighborhoods. So it's honestly, you get there and you get on foot or get on a bicycle or something and just check it out. I mean, you're bound to find a bunch of them that are really nice.
I also had some friends live in the Hillsdale area, which they were able to get some more affordable apartments, but there's like a library there. There's a ton of food carts there. Everything that you needed was also in that area as well.
The person said, "You need a car." I think for like almost anywhere these days, you need a car unless you were like some devoted bicyclist that is going to pedal everywhere, in which case Portland's good for bicycling. But you're going to need a car to get around a fairly large sized city, unless you live like in downtown New York or something like Manhattan or whatever, and everything is, you, you can't drive it anyway, or you're going to have a tough time driving. The mass transit in Portland, I think like a lot of places, is okay, but you have to wait a long time. And they often are cutting back on services after the pandemic, and people aren't using it as much. So, yeah, I would say that, yeah, you probably need a car. And in Portland, it's growing up. Traffic does suck if you're on one of the main arterials at rush hour, which gets, the rush hour goes from now like 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and larger and larger, but that's like pretty much everywhere. Um, I would say, you stay on the surface streets and the traffic isn't bad. But yeah, cars are still a good thing. I can't imagine being without a car.
Locally here, the hikes that are really worthwhile, it's so crowded now. Like if you go to Round Lake in Camas, there's so many people there. It's just ridiculous. But what we've noticed is if you spend a little time and take a 30-minute drive to the Columbia Gorge, the hikes are even prettier, and there's not a lot of people there compared to in town. So this just a thought, if you like
That's
hiking,
cool.
if you go just 30 minutes out, you get these very scenic hikes with lots of waterfalls.
It is a natural wonderland. It is amazing. You can go for in a couple of hours. You're at or an hour and a half. You're at the coast, the Pacific Ocean. That's a big deal, folks. The Pacific Ocean is amazing. Another couple of hours, you can be skiing up on Mountain Hood. You can go windsurfing, world class windsurfing on the Columbia River Gorge. The hiking is amazing. You can go down to Bend, which is sort of a high desert kind of thing with all sorts of kayaking, canoeing, hiking, everything. You've got world class outdoor recreation all year round, all the time. That's remarkable. And if you love the outdoors, you'll never want for anything.
Yeah, how many places can you be where you can go skiing on a volcano in the morning and then by the evening you can have a bonfire on the beach to finish your day? I mean, that's not too many places where you can do that on a single day.
Yeah. And try doing that without a car.
Right.
Just try getting bus service to, Al mentioned, the hiking spots.
They have a world class
What?
race. It's called Hood to Coast, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
you
Yeah.
team up with a number of people, and you run from the top of Mount Hood all the way out to the beach. It's very very organized, a lot of fun.
I think it's like 24 hours a day for a couple of days
Yeah.
that you do that, and they have teams of people, and you're in a van. You're driving along in your van, and you take shifts, and people run for like 4, 5, 6, 8 miles at a time, and then you get back in the van, and your teammate goes out and runs for 5 or 6, 8 miles, and you stay up all night. It's like teammate camaraderie all the way, like Al said, from Mount Hood out to the beach, and it's pretty crazy. Now I haven't done it, but I was going to do it, so I know all about the itinerary, and I was going to do it.
Just shy of
I got
200
the
miles. That's a long relay.
Yeah, it's
It actually
crazy.
cuts
Yeah.
through my neighborhood, so I know all about it, I guess. I'm practically
There you
doing it.
There's also like Ned Flanders dress up biking and and all sorts of crazy different like themed biking. I think there might be a nude biking.
Yeah, World Naked Bike Ride.
Yeah.
I want to circle back to what Al said about income tax. Oregon, despite not having any sales tax, it is one of the highest tax states. And Portland is some of the highest taxes of any city in the US. And the Oregon tax of 9% on income maxes out very early, meaning that it's almost a flat tax. And so a flat 9% tax on income for the state is, I think, maybe the highest in the US.
To Al's earlier point about, it was a way he was talking about taxes in Oregon versus Washington, where you can live to avoid it.
Oh.
That is a huge benefit, being able to live on the Washington side, take advantage of no income tax, take advantage of no sales tax, because you can just hop over the river and go to IKEA or wherever you've got to go for all your needs. But there's a stipulation there that when you're thinking about this, you have to consider, is that if you work in Oregon, there's no way you're going to live in Washington and get any tax benefits. You have to do your work in Washington. They will absolutely get you if you don't. So
Right.
make sure that if you want to take advantage of that, if you want to come to this area, find a way to work with your company or wherever to try to do all that work not in Oregon, and that's how you can get that real benefit. My sister recently moved to Washington basically to take advantage of the same thing, because her job went remote and my brother-in-law's job is remote as well. So it's an easy way to save 9%, which is, boy howdy, quite a bit.
Yeah, that's why there's just a ton of building over here.
Yeah, Portland will have to address the rather stark difference between tax situations if they want to arrest the trends of today.
A rapid fire. What should people know?
Gleason Street as opposed to Glisson.
And Terwilliger is a very hard one to pronounce.
39th / Cesare Chavez.
It's 39th.
Yeah, it's definitely 39th.
The Dalles nearby.
Yeah, so there's another thing about Portland that you really want to consider when you're trying to just kind of get a lay of the land, since we're talking about neighborhoods, is that Portland is divided up into rough quadrants, a lot like a Washington, D.C. sort of is. And Portlanders use the quadrants a lot. I lived in Southeast. That's one of the quadrants, right? Northeast, Southwest, Northwest. There's also these two little weird outliers, North Portland and South Portland, just because of they cut it up into a quadrant based on the river and it curves. So they were like, oh, maybe we should create a whole district because of this. Anyway, so when you're thinking about Portland and you're looking up things about Portland, you're going to see and hear a lot about the quadrants, and that will make a difference when it comes to just kind of getting your bearings and learning your way around.